Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the post-game show after the Pacers-Cavs game. As always, I'm joined by Coach Dave Dufour. Dave, that was kind of a frustrating the second half, not really fun to watch. Was it fun for you?
Some of the things that the Cavs were doing, I really enjoyed. I like how they're leveraging Kyle Korver's, on fire 3-point shooting to get them some interesting actions off of that. And then once, it looked like once they were really worried about the three, they were getting all these, the Cavs were getting a lot of nice secondary passes from Korver to other guys who were wide open. And then the Pacers just forget that Kyle Korver can shoot threes, and he comes back. So he winds up with 6 for the game, which 6 of 8. I mean,
Right.
he's above 50% since the trade. It's really insane.
Yeah, really nice motion. They had a great couple sets there where they set it up with a slip of a Tristan Thompson ball screen on top, and he quickly would veer and go set a pin down for Korver. And what that did was, I showed it on Twitter on a tweet, was on the ball screen, Miles Turner drops, and then when he quickly goes to the pin down for Korver, he's no longer in position to help on that, and Korver comes around and is open. And then also Tristan Thompson's gotten a lot better, I got to tell you, on his pin down screens. He's doing that, like, sort of turn, put his face to the basket and back up a little bit and, maybe trip somebody in the interim and not get called for it like Bogut. So, hey, listen, if it's not going to be called, you might as well keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's only a foul if it gets called.
That's
right. Channing Frye is the king of that. He pushes guys in the back on nearly every offensive possession. Every offensive possession.
Yeah.
So disappointing for the Pacers. Paul George, 4 of 19, 13 points. Played 36 minutes, but looked like he had the flu. So
this is the Paul George flu game.
Yeah, only not good.
Right. The real flu game. I don't know. I'm telling you, I've never seen him look like that. Just didn't want to be there. And people on Twitter are saying, oh, he's just, wants to get to the Celtics already. I hadn't really heard much of that kind of rumor. Have you?
No. And you know what? Larry Bird said the one guy he's not trading is Paul George. We should probably call him Jeb Bush with how low his energy was tonight.
Right. Well, he can't. He's certainly got bigger hands than Donald Trump, so we have to go with Jeb Bush.
And no, the Cavs do not trade Kevin Love. I don't see it happening. I definitely think that someone just popped up, and this game doesn't do anything to make me think that the Cavs don't need Kevin Love.
Right.
Does it change anything for you?
No, I mean, listen, it was only close for a little longer than we thought, but other than that, it was a separation thing. So, no, it doesn't change anything for me. And you're right, they can't really afford to do that. And also because if you try and bring in someone like that in the middle of the year, you're basically guaranteeing that you're not going to win a title. That's the other issue. I don't think you can bring a guy like, Carmelo in the middle of the season, teach him the offense, and expect that to be like working really well by June. It's not going to happen. It's not recommended. Well, now are they going to maybe ride Derek Williams and hope that he's a solution? Yeah,
I'll tell you.
What do you think his issue is? I've been staring at him pretty hard tonight, and I've certainly watched his game throughout his NBA career. What is his issue?
Well, from what I saw tonight, all right. So first of all, it's as good as I've ever seen him look, and that's that playing next to LeBron effect, right? Like I actually tweeted this out. I was like, LeBron could get me a $10 million a year contract to just stand in the corner and shoot threes. Like LeBron is that good. And so Derek Williams looks better playing by extension, right? Playing with LeBron. And also ball movement is infectious, right? So if you're out there, and if you're the new guy, and the 4 guys that are out there are moving the ball, well, you're more likely to move the ball as well and to look to create plays, and that's what he's doing. The one thing I don't like, he had one possession late in the game, and it was like he kind of hit a couple of crossovers and took a mid-range pull-up, and it wasn't a good shot. I would rather see him become more of a north-south dribbler
Right.
rather than this east-west stuff. Like, I don't think he's got the handle to create separation going side to side. I think he needs to think about maybe using his quickness to get past that defender, because he's also got a big body. So like it's a rare combination. So I'd like to see him do that.
Right. Yeah, that was a great lesson in like the crossover that has no value because you're going, side to side, not getting any space. I think that because he's very quick, but I feel like he kind of skates. He's always on the edge of sort of being on the edge of his feet, where he's a little off balance, doesn't have explosion because of it. Do you know what he shot from three his sophomore year before he left for the NBA?
No.
I called it up. He shot from behind the arc 57%.
On how many a game?
He took a total of 74, so 2 a game.
It's
not a lot, but that's a lot. That's a really good shooter. Now, but again, there's something also about his shot that doesn't quite seem to. It's not all one motion where like he seems to like dissipate the energy and it's sort of all pushed and not weird. I don't know. All I know is that coming out of college, they were really excited about him being a stretch four, can shoot, can drive. But I think you're right. I think the footwork is an issue, and I think part of it, I wonder how flexible his hips really are. Because to me, there's something about like him, when you catch an edge on a ski, he seems to always sort of be that way. And it's not the way to play the game. You got to be able to get your feet flat in the ground and land perfectly. So, that could be fixed. Either way.
Well, I mean, a little bit of biomechanic work would go a long way for him. I mean, you look at what LeBron has done this year shooting threes. He's obviously made some changes. This is as good as I've seen his form. You've pointed out on numerous occasions he's added more sway to his shot. His feet are better. His release is a little bit higher. Like it's a much nicer shot. He's not fading away on all of his shots now, which is what it looked like the last few years. And so, and he's shooting like 38%. What was he tonight? I think he 3 of 4 tonight. So another blistering performance. Derek Williams could stand to put some work in with whoever worked with LeBron on that.
Right. He's actually 4 of 5.
Wait, what?
From 3-point line. 3-4 from the free throw line. So, you're right. He has a much better rhythm on his shot. And remember, as you let your feet flow forward on that jump shot, it allows you, sort of mechanically to keep your shoulders back, relaxed, help you with arc, and also help you to just let that arm straighten smoothly. And that's a real key for him. For sure, he's so big that if he gets out of position that way, it's going to clank and it's going to be flat. This is as good of a stroke as we've seen since probably that year when he shot 40% from 3. And that's a real interesting. That'll save him. That'll at least, if he's going to play 39 minutes, he might as well take the 6 threes, and if he can make 2.5 of them, they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, too many minutes. Got to get those minutes down. I worry about what this means for him long term, but it's undeniable. Like Brian Windhorst tweeted out that with the load that LeBron is carrying, he should be talked about more in the MVP consideration. I agree completely. Yeah. He's having an amazing season, and he is somehow coasting but playing 40 minutes a night. It's incredible. Yeah.
Any other thoughts about the game while we're still on that and before the other game starts?
I mean, the Pacers don't look good, but this is not anything new for them. Their defense is not good. This is supposed to be an offensive team, and they just didn't have it tonight. And again, I wonder what's going on with Paul George. Is this just a general malaise where he's unhappy, as has been reported in the media lately, or is this a sickness or injury or something we don't know about?
Well, yeah, I think it's time that Indiana should just tear the whole thing down. I just don't like what's going on, and probably the coaching staff too. I think it's time to get some new young guy in there and just. You're available, right?
Yeah, I am. I'll take over if they want. I can be on the first plane to New Orleans. I'll meet them down there. We can have a little interview. Me and Larry Bird.
Yeah, no, I want to talk. I got a lot to talk about Larry. So me and you, we'll go down there and see what we can, rustle up. But some housekeeping. Hey, let's all do this fun thing. What we always do every show now is let's all share this on Twitter all at once. What do you say? Let's give me some hearts. Let's press that upward arrow button. Hit the tweet. And hit tweet. Let's let everyone in on the show because we got a few more minutes before the other game starts. And also, follow us on Periscope. It'd be a much better way for you to know that we're doing this if you are following us and get the notification rather than get scared and realize, I missed the show. Because you don't want to miss these shows, right, Dave?
That's right. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is some of the best content you're going to get. But I may be a little biased.
No, listen. I am. You are right. Independent of my bias as well. No one else is really doing much in the live thing, and we can now jump on here and offer some really good analysis from a coach's perspective, which is always the key here. No one else is doing it from our perspective, and I think that's a real value. So definitely give us a follow on Periscope. I want to see that follower count go up right now, and let's see some hearts. I love the hearts. I'm going to give myself some hearts.
I saw someone. So someone just asked, or someone just said that the Pacers need a coach like Brad Stevens. I actually agree with that. I think they need a coach, and again, this is when we talk about the teardown. I think they need a younger coach who can kind of guide this sort of in a Brett Brown fashion, right? Some guy that they could bring in, tear it down, and say, hey, look, you know what? You're big on player development. Kenny Atkinson, who's with the Nets right now, would have been a perfect hire for the Pacers if they were going to do a teardown. But this idea where you're trying to compete, they basically have thrown together a bunch of nickels and dimes, and they're trying to compete, with a $100 bill in LeBron James, and that just isn't going to cut it.
Right. And then they're not gonna. They don't think that they were gonna compete anyway. I don't think this is some weird, Pacers matrix where they're just not good, and they weren't going to be that great anyway. Jeff Teague seems like he's taking a step back. I kind of want to peek at his numbers right now, but I don't think they're as good as they've been in the past. Right? Let's look.
He was actually the only reason they stayed in this game as long as they did tonight. He did some really good things. I mean, some of his defensive stuff was lacking, but
okay.
Hey, we actually got a coaching question.
Oh,
so Gigolo Puff, our good buddy, asks if anyone knows how to practice shooting while sore, like in your upper body and arms.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's sore because you've been lifting and now you try and shoot. I guess that's the idea.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I would say don't shoot if you're sore because you don't want to develop bad habits.
Good point. Also, I mean, if you haven't been lifting for a long time and you come back and you'll be sore that first day or two back, but I would argue that you probably shouldn't be lifting so much that you are sore often. You know what I mean, Dave?
Yeah, I agree. Especially not during the season. Save that for player development time, which is when your season's over, and take those rest days like you're supposed to. Someone on Periscope also called us nerds, so I mean I think that's a compliment since nerds kind of run the world now. But my open challenge for one-on-one is available to anybody. Yeah, I travel quite a bit, so if anybody wants to test me, that's available. So then we can figure out who the nerd is. Yeah, now he knows why LeBron can't.
Wow. All right. I've never seen you on the court. Now I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah, I can go a little bit. So let's see. Let's get some more questions, guys.
Yeah. Someone asked if we think that LeBron's the greatest of all time. I mean, I'll reserve that for Michael Jordan for the time being.
It's really, really close. It is really, really close. Bill Walton pointed out, if LeBron continues, his career average for another 4 seasons, which is feasible for him, he will pass Kareem for all-time leading scorer. Yeah. I mean, that's something, man. Like, I just think what LeBron has done is pretty incredible. Not to take anything away from Michael Jordan. I'm lucky to have gotten to see them both, for their entire careers. And, I don't know. It's really close. I can't argue. If someone says LeBron is the GOAT, I can't argue with them that he isn't, right? It's that close to me.
Yeah. It's very close. I actually, grew up in Chicago and had a chance to see, Michael up close. And I don't know. I just feel like he's had enough moments that were big, where maybe LeBron hasn't. That I'm gonna go with Michael. But here's a good question: do you think the Spurs can beat the Warriors in the playoffs?
No,
I'm not sure they score well enough to beat them.
Even though their offensive rating is good, I just don't think I don't think that they can hang with the Warriors in that pace.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think so. Also, breaking news, Carmelo
made the All-Star.
Is taking Kevin Love's spot. So we talked about that yesterday. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad call.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the podcast, I believe, as well, which you guys should all check out. We have Dave and I do a podcast every Monday called "Solving the NBA's Problems One Question at a Time," and we actually broadcast it on Periscope too. So you can watch it here, but preferably, fire up iTunes or Stitcher and check it out because it's another really good NBA podcast that will get you going to work or wherever you're doing or to class.
We got another good question. The Mexicution asks, who is our dark horse in each conference to go to the finals?
The dark horse to go to the conference finals?
To the finals in each conference.
Well, I guess I'll go with the Cavs. I mean, I'm not the Cavs.
No.
The Wizards.
Yep, I would say the Wizards, and then in the West, I would say the Rockets.
Yeah, I feel like that's always sort of like the cool hip choice, and
I just think they're the ability to catch fire, And in the playoffs, I mean, we've seen it. I mean, they went to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago because of that, right? Like they just caught fire, and I really think that could be big.
Well, we got to see if Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson, who don't have a lot of playoff experience, are going to be able to bring it when they need it there. They're veterans, and they've seen a lot, so that's going to help. But I don't know. I'm going to have to see what they look like in the playoffs a little bit before I kind of start blowing some sunshine. But, interesting call. Otherwise, I guess you got to go with the Spurs, in theory. But, I mean, I don't even know.
Let's say
what
the
if it
Nuggets.
was like the Grizzlies or something?
Yeah. I mean, the Grizzlies certainly could do it. I just don't think they're deep enough. And that's the big thing is like in the playoffs, you always wind up getting a game from a bench guy. I mean, look at Iguodala winning Finals MVP. You know what I mean? You need a bench guy who can have a big game, and I just don't think they have any of those guys.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. Well, listen, the other game has started already, and the score is 7-2 to the Knicks. So we're gonna have to see if Russell Westbrook has anything to say about that.
Yeah. Are we doing Golden State Sacramento?
The plan is to do a halftime and a post game show. So I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to do a halftime and post game for the next game going on right now on ESPN? Are you guys in? Hearts, give us some love on the in a comment. Let us know, or hit us up on Twitter a little bit because we're gonna.
Let's say the choice is to do the ESPN game with Oklahoma City and who is it? New York, or to do the Sacramento Golden State.
Forgive me, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's the choice. Would you want ESPN game or do you want the Warriors and Sacramento? Let it be the Warriors.
Yeah, like I'd rather do the more fun game.
Yeah, can we do the Warriors? You guys mind? Like, I know we want to do fan night. And by the way, we did the fan night voting on Twitter, and that was the game that was selected. So we'll probably stick with that. So if I might have erred in what I was talking about because I'm not eating carbs, and I'm not eating. We'll tell you the story about my elliptical issue later on tonight. So on how bad my brain is working. But okay, well, let's let everyone get to the games, and we will see you right back here as soon as we can, as soon as the halftime of the Warriors-Kings game. Right, Dave?
That's right.
Well, I'm in.
So am I.